Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm super excited about this presentation today because it is something that's near and dear to my heart, which is the difference between being a leader and being a manager. So in order to effectively manage a team of successful people, you must first be the leader that they want to follow. So you must lead in order to manage. People tend to get the two confused, thinking that one is the same as the other, when in fact, being a manager and being a leader are very different. So what I did was I went ahead and I created two definitions. I went to Google yesterday and I identified what is the true definition of the word manage. So to manage means to be in charge. It means to run something smoothly. You are supervising the work of other people that are under your control. So that means you have the ultimate say and influence. And again, this is a huge responsibility. Your success or failure will be determined by how those who you control view your control and your management skills. So if you aren't able to rule, command, supervise, oversee, administer, organize, all those keywords that are on that slide effectively, then you're not going to have control of the team. And there are some heavy terms that are used in that definition. Like I said, lead, govern is a big one. But you're also handling them and guiding them. So if the team doesn't respect you, then you will not successfully be able to do any of these things. So the next definition that I've created is the definition of the word lead. So if you notice, a lot of people think that the two words are interchangeable. I'm a leader, I'm a manager, it's the same thing, but it's really not. To lead is to cause somebody to go with you, holding them by the hand while they're moving forward. It's to show someone or something the way to a destination by going in front of them or beside them, walking beside them. It's a reason or a motivation for someone. So this is the term lead. To be a leader, it means to set in motion the results that you want to see. You're the cause for things that are happening. You're the one that shows the way, opens the doors, and leads others through it. The military isn't managed, it's led by the brave and the fearless. Those who want and are eager to follow are managed by the leaders in the military. They have the management skills that are required to keep order, but they also have the respect of those underneath them because they're out there showing the way. So they're not just telling people what to do, they're showing and guiding, which is the definition of a true leader. So what I've done is I went ahead and put together what I think are probably the 8 most critical tips on being a leader versus being a manager. So tip 1, can you do it? So are you asking your staff to do something that you're not willing to roll up your sleeves and do yourself? Are you too busy being bossy? Have you forgotten the time that's involved in the processes? And can you do what you're asking them to do? I want to go back to that one that says, have you forgotten the time that's involved in the processes? I think probably one of the most frustrating things as a subordinate is having your boss say, how come you can't get this done? It should only take you a few minutes. This is something that should only take 30 minutes, or you should be able to time manage this within everything else. But have you forgotten? Are you taking the time? Do you know what the time is involved in all of the processes that you're asking your team to do? It's so important as a leader that not only can you manage the processes, but you can do them yourself, especially in a small business. Let's look at a multi-million or billion-dollar company and know that this is a different beast. I absolutely do not expect a CEO of a major corporation to be able to do every job within a company, but the good and respected leaders of specific departments or divisions can absolutely roll up their sleeves and get dirty with their team, even if they have the manpower to never have to do it. Their team knows that they can step in and take over at any time. In a small business, although it's important to put the team in place to be able to grow your business so that you can move forward to other functions, it's still important to know, for them to know that you can do it as well. I know that I will never ask my team to work harder than me, especially now while I'm small and I'm still growing. And my team knows that too. So tip number 2 is their purpose. So the difference between being a leader and a manager is creating an environment where your team understands that there's a purpose behind what you're doing. So does your team have a purpose? Do they know what you're fighting for? And does your team understand the big picture, and do they have buy-in on that? So for a team to be successful, they must own its purpose. Does your team know what they're coming to work for every day? It's so important for a team to have a common commitment, or they're just coming to work and they're performing as individuals. In order to manage the individuals, you must lead the team with purpose. So this goes to my next one, which is always critical, and something that I'm always asking for. So is there accountability? So do you have performance goals focused around the common purpose of your small business? Are the goals focused on the collective effort, not just an individual effort? So this is really key. Do you have team buy-in? Are they working with each other? Are they working towards a collective goal, or are they just individuals coming to work, working in their individual cubes or at their individual desks, not aware of what the processes and procedures are and what the goals are of the other people that they're working alongside? Is everyone aware of all of the goals? And are the goals fair? And is there buy-in around that? So did you just throw goals and metrics out there to your team and didn't ask for buy-in? You didn't have a conversation. There was no kickoff, no explanation of why this is happening. Or is this something where you sat down and you worked collaboratively to put this together? I know in almost every training I've talked about, I've referred to setting goals and creating metrics. Accountability and goals are the cornerstone for successful companies. But with that said, goals and metrics don't matter if they are arbitrary, set as a job duty rather than to support the common purpose of the team and the direction of the company. Your team's goals and metrics should be in place to steer your ship in the direction you've set, focused on the end result always. So, which leads us to the next one. You can't have goals that are successful if you don't have skills that are complementary. So tip 4, are there complementary skills? Does your team complement each other? Have you assessed their skills and identified the true strengths of each person on the team? And are they willing to develop the skills needed to be successful? So let's say they may not be strong in one area, but you know that it's going to be needed in the role that they're playing. Is that person willing to develop the skills that they need to be successful? It's one thing to have an office of great people who work really hard, and I hear that a lot. Everybody's really great. They work hard. They really want to be here. That's fantastic, but it's another completely different thing to have an office of great people whose skills, strengths, and weaknesses, they complement one another. So you can have a team full of people that work really hard, but if they don't have skills that balance one another out, it's not going to matter how hard they work. You're not going to reach the common goals that you've set for your company. A leader should analyze the skills and outline a program to utilize the best of each person. You should be able to offer training where it's needed. And it's critical not just to know, but to use each person's best attributes, spending time and making it even stronger. And once you've done that, now you've got a team that's truly focused and working together. You've got a team that's succinct, which takes us to the next one. Is there a line? So this is tip number 5. This is a really challenging one for small businesses. When I say is there a line, I mean, is there a line in the sand where personal relationships cross over to business relationships? Is there a line in the sand where appropriate versus inappropriate? And I know that's a really tough one to have a conversation about. And trust me, I'm right there with you because I'm a small business owner as well. But do you know where the line in the sand is? Does the office maintain appropriate relationships and respect for each other and for you? You can't focus on a common goal. You can't assess each other's weaknesses and skills. You can't put forward training and metrics and those kind of things if you have an office that doesn't have a line in the sand, if you don't have respect for each other. Are the friendships respected? And do we know where the boundaries are? So this is probably one of the hardest parts of being a small business owner. You spend so much time with your team. You get to know their personal struggles and their successes. You know their spouses and kids. And I'm absolutely not saying not to get to know your staff because I know mine very, very well. So for an example, my senior manager is one of my best friends. She's actually going to be over for the 4th of July. She hangs out at my house, spends time with my family, and we've worked together and I've led her for 8 years. But we also have a very separate working relationship and we have very set specific boundaries around work versus our personal relationship. And it's really important that those are set and we've set them from the very beginning. Communication is critical for small business and good friend relationships to remain symbiotic and successful. So there really has to be rules around the work relationship, and you as the leader must be able to veto decisions or put your foot down without hurting the other's feelings. Your idea must be well thought out and articulated calmly and clearly. And that's the only way that you're going to be able to respect those friendship and work boundaries. So that takes us to number 6. So tip number 6 is, do you have mentors? Have you created a one-on-one environment? Once someone masters something, are they able and are they given the freedom to teach it within your organization? Do you grow your own replacement? And are you creating the power of pairs? I really like that concept, the power of pairs. That's 2 people that have the knowledge, that have knowledge base that's important. If somebody can't come into work, if somebody quits, you've got the power of pairs. You've got a backup. There's always a backup plan. And that's what's going to really help move your business forward. A leader has a culture of teaching, growing, and education. That's a leader. A manager oversees this, but a leader creates a culture of it. People want to follow those who are willing to give their time and to teach. They also want to follow those who create an environment of growth. If you look at Entrepreneur's top 100 companies over the last couple of years, you will see that most of those tout being companies whose growth is organic and is based on teaching and creating your replacement. And this is the way it is, for example, with both Google and Facebook. They were very, very tiny when they started. And I recognize these are small businesses and you aren't looking to be a giant, but you can still scale this concept to your business size. People want to continue to grow and to be educated. And if you really think about it, that's the type of staff you would want to work with you as well. You want somebody who's eager to learn, grow, learn more, understand different facets of the organization. It's easy to manage a team who works to lead one another, and it's easy to manage a team that is continuing to learn while they do so. So this is a very, very important one. So tip number 7, are you having fun? Don't be scared of the F word. Do you allow for your team to have laughter? Do you allow them to laugh with reckless abandon? Fun should be woven into the fabric of daily tasks. Do you allow for new ideas? So imagine a birthday bash on your first day of work. So this is a great example. It's okay to have fun to work. It's okay to create fun contests and ideas generating environments to get the creative juices flowing. So there's a small software company in San Francisco called Right Solutions, and they are truly teeny tiny. They don't have a huge office of people. And they throw a birthday bash for new employees and send a welcome basket and fun gifts to the family as home. So when somebody starts on their first day, they have a birthday bash for them. And then when their employees go home, their spouse and their kids have gotten gift baskets and toys and all kinds of stuff, because it's not just welcoming the employee into your organization, it's welcoming the family. So we're always wanting to make sure that we're letting people know that their support is just as important as the new employees. So imagine random gifts, fun team spirit, and a mutual drive toward the goals of the business. That's really what you're looking for. So tip number 8, are you personally accountable? Do you keep to your own schedule? Does the team know and respect your time? So this is you as a leader. Do you spend your time preparing yourself to lead? And do you set time aside to be the owner, planning, dreaming, and set goals? Hang tight really quick, guys. I'm going to mute you. Okay. So, excuse me. So as a leader, it's critical that in order for you to create a business founded on leadership, accountability, and teamwork, that your team sees you engage in these activities yourself. To manage effectively, you must have a team that will follow you. And in order to be followed, you have to prove that you're worth the time to follow. You must become a leader, not an unfeeling manager who points and expects people to just do what you say. There has to be respect that starts with your own actions, accountability, and activities, your personal accountability. And these are the habits that you set even before you hire your first employee. So if you are an agent right now and you are looking to grow and you're looking to add your first person, are you doing these things? Do you have your own schedule? Do you respect your own time? Do you spend time preparing yourself to lead? And do you set time to be an owner as well, dreaming, planning, and setting goals? So kind of in a nutshell, your time as a leader. You want to carry and keep to the schedule. So first and foremost, carry and keep to the schedule as best you can. This will help you understand how much you can get done during the course of a day and where your precious moments are going. You'll see how much time is actually spent producing results and how much time is wasted on unproductive thoughts, conversations, and actions. So this is time blocking. This is taking a planner and blocking out your time. So from X to X, you're going to do this. Number 2, assign time to all important conversations or activities. These are your to-do lists, and your to-do lists get longer and longer to the point where they're unworkable. So this is where you want to schedule appointments with yourself and create time blocks for high priority thoughts, conversations, and actions. Schedule when they'll begin and schedule when they'll end, and have the discipline to keep these appointments. So if your CSR wants to have a conversation with you, get it on the calendar, block that time out. If they've got a stack of quotes that they have questions on and they need you to follow up and get answers to, you need to block that time out, and you need to have a hard stop, a hard start, and a hard stop so that you can move forward with your time as well. You want to schedule time for interruptions. This is really important. These are called your office hours. Plan time to be pulled away from what you're doing. Take, for instance, the concept of having office hours. Wouldn't you say that office hours is just another way of saying planned interruptions? So schedule time for your interruptions. Know that every day from 4 to 5, you have an open door policy. People can come in, they can ask you any question they want that isn't critical to, or a sense of urgency where it needs to be answered right at that moment. So, a 10 o'clock in the morning question versus something that can wait till your office hours. And number 4, plan your day every day. Take the first 30 minutes of every day to plan your day. Don't start your day until you complete your time plan. And the most important time of your day is the time that you schedule your scheduled time. So, and I think I was telling you guys that the CEO of Whole Foods, he spends 5 hours every Friday planning his next week. But I guarantee you his next week runs very smoothly. And then number 5 pretty much speaks for itself. Take 5 minutes before every call or task to decide what result you want to attain. If you were on my first call, my first training, you remember me talking about how to plan in order to be in front of a prospect. It's the same thing. Taking that time, set aside that time to plan what your conversation should look like so that you're not flustered, you're not trying to figure it out, you're not creating things that aren't real. So, and remember, it's impossible to get everything done. And also remember that the odds are good that 20% of your thoughts, conversations, and activity produce 80% of your results. So you may be really busy all day long, but only 20% of what you're actually doing is going to produce the 80% of the results that you're looking for. So if you're taking the time to log that information, to write it down, to analyze it, take a week to log and analyze that information. And I guarantee you will figure out what you need to get rid of and what you should keep. By showing your team the good habits, you're teaching them the good habits. And this is called leadership. Managing a team that is following you with confidence is much simpler than forcing a team to follow you because they don't understand your direction or respect your decisions. So going into a leader-driven business, we're almost done, guys. So as a leader, you are providing goals. The team is on the same page, working towards a common good. There's clear direction. The team has confidence and respect for your decisions. You are guiding and teaching them, and you are creating a fun learning environment for them to be in. This is a leader-driven organization. This is not an organization that is just managed by people who are overseeing processes. Now, with that being said, the wrap up, I have 3 additional slides, and this is from a book called The 1 Minute Manager. So the 1 Minute Manager really is about a very, very effective leader and how he manages his people in 1-minute increments because of the respect that they have from him. So the first secret is 1-minute goals. 1-minute goal setting is about being aware of what's expected from the beginning. When deciding upon a desired goal, the performance standards, it's recorded on a single sheet of paper. 1-minute goal setting is so called because it should only take 1 minute to be able to read it. So, for example, 1-minute goals work in a similar manner to if you were to say to somebody, I want you to clean up your room, or I want you to clean up the office, that person wouldn't know whether to sweep the room, place everything in order, arrange the books on a shelf, or do all 3. On the other hand, if you asked that person to sweep the room, arrange the books, you would know exactly what needs to be done. As a result, both you and the person that you've asked are both satisfied with the job. And that's the thought behind 1-minute goals. Clear-cut directions for somebody to be able to move forward with so that there's no discontent and there's no issue about what was actually being said or thought. All right, next one. The 1-minute manager, second secret. So this is 1-minute praising. This is my favorite. After 1-minute goal setting, the second step in the 1-minute management is to catch the people doing something right. And this is when the 1-minute praisings are given. 1-minute praisings are so called because it hardly takes a minute for you to tell someone that he or she did a good job. There's no need to elaborate when you can simply say that he or she did something good and you noticed it. The 1-minute praising is genuine. You're genuinely interested in your people and you care about them for their success. So 1-minute praising is really aimed at catching people doing something right rather than catching them doing something wrong. And like most organizations point out the things that are being done wrong, but they don't take a moment to say, wow, that was a really great phone call. I really liked the way that you spoke to that client. Thank you. And you walk away. It's a 1-minute praise. It doesn't need to be any more than that. But if it's consistent, you'll earn the respect of your team and you'll become the true leader that they're looking for. And the last secret, this is a super secret, guys, is the 1-minute reprimand. So 1-minute reprimands, they're given as soon as an employee does something wrong. A 1-minute reprimand has 2 parts. The first half includes telling the person what they did wrong and how you felt about it, letting it sink in with a few seconds of uncomfortable silence. And then the second half, you tell the people how much you think of them and they're capable of doing and how much you value them. So the 1-minute reprimands are highly effective because the feedback is immediate. So unlike your annual reviews or your quarterly reviews where you're charged for things committed several weeks or months ago, if you're being scolded for a mistake you made 7 to 8 months back, it would hardly make an impact on you. Whereas if you were being scolded for a mistake you made yesterday, it'll affect you. So if a mistake is pointed out, as soon as it's made, it can be easily corrected. And since one mistake is pointed out at one time, the people hear it seriously and your message is easily conveyed to them. So instead of saying, hey, you did 3 things wrong, hey, I just heard you talk to that client. I didn't appreciate the tone of voice. I know you were frustrated and busy because you have a lot on your desk, but we are a client, we're a client services organization. Silence. Moving forward, I would really appreciate it if you could put down what you're doing. When the phone rings, make sure you focus on the person and the phone call at hand. And then moving forward, you'll have better customer service experience. Done and done. That's a 1-minute reprimand. All right, so that's pretty much it for me today, guys. So this whole thing was written based on 3 books that I've read. The first one's on Managing People by David Golub, and this is a Harvard Business Review's top 10 must-reads. The next one is called Scaling Up Excellence, and it's basically scaling up small businesses so that they're extremely successful. And this is by Robert I. Sutton and Huggy Rao. And then also, obviously, The 1-Minute Manager by Ken Blanchard and Spencer Johnson. So Allie is going to make sure that these get sent out so you guys have these references. And if you want any additional information, or if you'd like me to come in and chat with you and talk to you about your team and your organization, I would love to do that. This is my contact info. And thank you guys again for putting up with me and letting me go through another, we're going to call these owners therapies, OTs, owner therapies. So let me know if you have any questions. You guys can always shoot me an email, and I look forward to connecting with you again. Have a fabulous day. Thanks so much. Take care.